Good afternoon. It's Kirsten here for a Thursday Spa Business Break here at Kirsten Foss Coaching. So we are nearing the end of the year, and I'm sure most of you are in the throes of a bit of chaos at the spa. We know this is pretty usual for this time of year, but it's also the time that you start hearing about online about planning for 2019. So a lot of times for the spa industry, I find the planning part is easier done in kind of like October, November, because it's usually a little bit quieter for you. And that way you can hit the jets at the beginning of January. But if you haven't done your planning already, I thought I would bring up the topic of looking back at your 2018 in order to use that strategically to plan your 2019. Now, the reason why is because, if you follow me, you hear me talking a lot about our own expectations. And the reason why I talk about our own expectations is because we often have kind of skewed expectations of ourselves that aren't really that realistic. And one of those expectations that I notice when it comes to business planning, business strategy in the spa industry is that there's this tendency to always want to look forward and not really value looking backwards at what's happened in order to analyze it and to make better decisions going forward. So that's why whenever I do my own planning, and when I do planning with my clients, we always start by looking back on the year. What worked? What didn't? Because there's no use repeating what didn't work. And often I see spa owners repeating what's not working for them simply because, well, a couple of things. Sometimes they forget that sometimes they haven't actually put in a strategy for what they were wanting to do. So say they brought on a new service and kind of threw the launch together, and it kind of was met with a lukewarm response. And when you get to the end of the year and you're planning your next year of business and what you want to do, you could mistakenly just keep this idea that that service didn't work out very well. My clients obviously don't like it. That was a total mistake and a waste of money. But really, if we were to look at what was done with that new service launch, there's probably some good pieces in there, and there's probably some pieces in there that you don't want to repeat again with another launch. So that is why we can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. If something didn't necessarily work like we thought it would, then we have to dig into, all those little pieces of that growth initiative. Say it was adding a new service, like what part did we drop the ball on? So that next time you are doing some sort of launch, you remember, oh yeah, we actually didn't tell our clients about it too much in our social media or our email marketing. We were feeling a little uncomfortable about telling new clients all about it because we didn't want to feel too salesy. So if the service ended up being a bit of a flop, quite likely your marketing and visibility and your scripting was off and really wasn't getting the message across in a way that was positive, in a way that clients felt like they really understood what the results that they were going to get, so that they could see the value in it, not the financial value, but the actual results and outcome value. Okay, so I've got 3 headings here that I want to share with you about looking back on 2018 so that you can make better decisions in 2019. So let's talk about strategy. I love strategy. I'm a planning kind of gal. I love planning and organizing. So in 2018, what was the plan? What was your strategy? Did you have a focus? I know that a lot of you like to pick a word that you want to be kind of your general focus for the year. I've done that for many, many, many years. Last year, I kind of struggled with my word. And the only word that kept coming to me, because I really did spend time, kind of quiet time, digging in, trying to feel around for what I really wanted to focus on for 2018. And the only word that kept coming up was yes. So I know that sounds awfully vague because I was like, well, that's kind of vague. But I just kept that, I kept that intention the whole year through. And for me, what I see as what that offered me was an opportunity to say yes to things that I may not have said yes to. I may have made a quick snap decision and said, oh no, I can't do that, or oh no, that's not going to work. But I really did pause when opportunities were coming up, or when I was getting ideas, I would pause and think about, oh, what if I said yes to this? What would that mean? So in my life and in my career, I've had a huge year in 2018. My coaching practice has been fantastic, but I've launched a new business for spa owners called Virtual Spa Business Management. So that was a yes. That was me having an idea, a concept, and I said yes to it right away when it spoke to me. It was actually, I think it was the July long weekend. And a couple of pieces of what has been bugging me about the spa industry started coming together. The piece that was bugging me was spa owners they need some done for you work. They're overwhelmed. Teaching them courses and classes is fantastic. It's a great resource, but there's a huge chunk of spa businesses that simply don't have the time or the mental bandwidth or the desire to do the work themselves, and they need to outsource it. So because I had been listening for a couple of years to the spa industry and about this issue of, yeah, I know how to do it, but I don't have time. And because I'm not doing it, I'm missing out on huge opportunities. I'm missing out on sales. I'm missing out on growing my team. I'm missing out on new learning. So that was my focus for the year for 2018 was to say yes. So I listened to those opportunities that came up and the other pieces that seemed to come together. And voila, Virtual Spa Business Management was launched at the end of August to do a pilot program. So I'm curious, if you had a word for the year for yourself for 2018, what was it? And, that's kind of the building of your strategy for the year for your business. Did you take that word and lay it over top of your business? And what was that supposed to mean for you in terms of growth for 2018? So did you have a focus for the year? Did you have an actual strategy or a plan for the year? Did you map out, what was going to happen in what you wanted to happen for each quarter in terms of sales, in terms of offers in your business, in terms of team members? Did you map that out? Did you map it out and follow it? Or did you map it out and forget about it right around May, which is usually what happens? The other question I want you to ask yourself when it comes to thinking about looking back on strategy for 2018, was there a game changer for you this past year? Was there a game changer? It could, and what I mean by that is, did you start working with a coach or a mentor now you have things super focused and super clear and you were ready to hit the jets? It was a game changer that you decided to niche your business. Maybe you decided to niche your business even further and get super niched. Maybe you brought on a new skincare line or a new product line into your business. Maybe you took some training and some upgrading. Whatever it was, I want you to ask yourself, was there a game changer this year for 2018 in my business? What was it? And why was it a game changer? Okay, so when you're answering those questions, those answers will give you little pieces of insight about what to repeat for your next growth initiatives. Okay, let's talk about clients. Looking back on 2018 about clients, who was your best client? We all want our best clients. We just kind of want to clone them and make as many as possible. Why were they your best client? Did it have to do with the type of service that you were offering with that particular client, or maybe a group of clients? Did it have to do with the type of person they were? Did it have to do with their willingness to? If you're a skin therapist, did it have to do with that they were they totally trusted you, they were all in, and you could just do what you needed to do in your treatment room, and they were yep, just tell me what to do, tell me what to take home, tell me what to book. Is that kind of who your best client was? But really, the question that you want to define is, why were they your best client? Because again, that's going to give you some insight into the type of client that you want to reach in your marketing for 2019. Okay. who is your worst client? Now, and it could be like a personality kind of situation. And in that case, that has to start doing with thinking about your boundaries maybe for 2019. Maybe you need to toughen up your boundaries. Maybe you need to be more clear about your boundaries. If it had to do with, maybe you had a couple of clients that you're like, maybe it actually had to do with the service more than the client. You know how when if you are like a full service spa, maybe you guys aren't really wanting to. Maybe you're shifting your focus more into skin and really just not interested in doing manicures anymore. And maybe you were finding that the manicure clients were kind of annoying everybody, annoying the staff, and it didn't really have to do with the actual client. It was just you're starting to feel resentful because they're not really services that you want to be providing. So once you get clear on who your worst client is or was this year, then you can start making a plan on how to minimize that for 2019. All right, let's talk about money. Did you have a money goal for 2018? Cheryl says you're attracting your ideal client. Awesome. Did you have a money goal for 2018? Did you have a profit goal for 2018? Because of course, those two things are completely different. You could be making $100,000 a year in your business as a solo, but that doesn't mean that you're taking home pay $100,000 because you've got expenses in there and maybe you have a team in there as well. So, sometimes we get stuck into wanting to be, hit these certain levels, like that. If you're solo, that first 100,000 is one of those levels. But it also doesn't necessarily mean that we're even taking home even half of that. So if you don't have a money goal, I'd like you to look back on 2018. What was the total sales of 2018 in service and retail? Were your retail sales on par for what you should be earning for retail sales? Minimum should be 30% of total sales. So if you're lower than 30%, which sometimes if you are a lash niche or manis and pedis, it's difficult to earn compared to skincare. It's much easier to earn earn money with skincare. Even more so, I'm seeing lots of skin therapists who actually earn more money in retail sales than they do in service sales. But when you're looking at last year's, what you've been brought in for last year, it gives you a benchmark at least to start looking at, okay, I want to make a 10% growth goal for 2019. I want to make a 25% growth goal. As far as growth goals, what you'll find is that as you start reaching your full potential in your business, the growth, percentage is going to get a little bit smaller and smaller. But when you're first really getting started with strategy and really sticking to your plan for the year and looking at your numbers and staying on track with things, you'll notice year after year for the first couple of years, you're going to have like exponential growth, but it will start leveling off a little bit. Do you track your profit loss every month? Do you submit your numbers to a bookkeeper or do you do your own books? Here's the thing, if we're not keeping track of our monthly numbers, not just the sales, it's not good enough because of course you earn, but you're also spending. So you really do need to get your profit loss statements done once a month so that you can look back on them each month and course correct quickly rather than waiting and getting all your books done at the end of the year and it's too late to do any kind of course correction. All right. So maybe that's one of those reflections when you're looking back on 2018, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't really keep track of my money and my numbers. And, I kind of just feels like I never really have enough. Then perhaps 2019 goals have to do with just tracking your numbers. Maybe you make that as your main goal, have a financial goal, but make the main goal about doing. Tracking your numbers every month, analyzing them, and course correcting from them. I think that's a stronger goal to make that commitment than it is necessarily to just make the commitment of I want to make $100,000 this year, or I want our facility to make, 500,000 or $1 million. Okay. If you're at the 500 to $1 million, you definitely have to be having some sort of support as far as tracking and numbers. Otherwise, it'll be a mess financially. When it comes to money, if you made a goal for 2018 and you didn't reach it, how come? Let's just be honest with ourselves. Did you have a plan and it fell by the wayside by June? Did you stop tracking your numbers by April? Maybe you hit something in your personal life that just went sideways and you just couldn't stay focused on the business. That's okay. That stuff happens. But we just have to temper our expectations out of that kind of situation. Let's see, what else have I got here for little notes? If you didn't make your money goal for 2018, maybe it's time to look at earning and spending. So that would be looking at cash flow forecasting through the month, because it can go out just as quickly as it comes in, right? You can also make decisions about next year's growth initiatives. So maybe you actually brought in a skincare line for 2018 and it didn't quite go as well as you thought it would be, and now you are having issues with cash flow. That's a real flag in the road for, okay, next time I bring something on, whether it's a service or retail, I need to get much better at the whole strategic piece of this. Like, how am I going to launch this? What is my marketing plan? What's my marketing system? What's our follow-ups? What do our team conversations look like? Do our consultation forms need upgrading? So there's all sorts of pieces in there that could need some work. Okay. And if you're struggling with your money, quite possibly you don't have a money system. So maybe you're not tracking them at all. If you can use a simple Google spreadsheet. There's free cash flow forecasting worksheets that you can download and use those. If you are not in my Cash Strapped to Cash Flow course in the spring, then make sure you keep your eyes peeled out for it. We're going to start in February this year as far as starting the launch. But any of you that have been in Cash Strapped to Cash Flow, you have those cash flow forecasting worksheets that are spa specific. So maybe it's time to pull those out, dust them off, and start getting them ready to use for 2019. Now, my final piece here that I wanted to prompt you with, as far as looking back, is your achievements for the year. All right, this is the time where you get to be like your own cheerleader. I want to be your cheerleader for you. So I want you to type into the comments your top 2 achievements this year. It could be money, it could be strategy, it could be clients, it could be that you just had a really tough year personally, but yet you still showed up for work and did your job and were of service to your clients and your team. Maybe that was the achievement. But I want to hear what your top 2 achievements were this year, because we all need to support each other. We always forget what we've achieved because we're always on to the next thing. Like, okay, yeah, that was, I did it. Okay, next. But we really do need to take a moment to be like, dang girl, you worked hard on that. And well done. And even if it hasn't turned out maybe quite how you thought it would be, or maybe it's still something like a work in progress. For me, I would say virtual spa business management is my dang girl, you did that. And we still have lots of room to grow and learn and all that kind of stuff. But I'm super proud of the fact that I've got a team of 4, starting a 5th now, just since end of August. We work really well together. Our clients are loving what we're doing. It feels creative. I feel fulfilled because I know we're actually physically helping spa owners make their lives easier and run their businesses much easier. So that is, I would say for me, that's my biggest accomplishment this year is getting virtual spa business rolling up and running. Cheryl says, I'm following a strict budget and I'm investing wisely. Awesome. It really all goes back to whatever we put focus to grows. It's so simple, but yet it is so powerful. But the issue is that there's so many things we want to do. So of course our focus gets diluted. So today is about really looking back, getting some clarity on what happened in 2018, what worked, what didn't, what you want to repeat, and what you want to ditch for 2019. So your homework for today is simply to start thinking about this. I know you probably don't have a lot of time to write anything down yet, but maybe after Christmas you can sit down and set aside like a half day or a day to do some strategic planning for 2019 for yourself. That's what I'm going to be doing myself too. But your homework for today is to simply type in what your top 2 accomplishments have been for 2018, because I want to cheer you on, and I know your other peers here in the spa industry want to cheer you on too. You know what? A rising tide floats all boats. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for commenting here, Cheryl. It's nice to connect with you on here, and we'll see you guys next Thursday for another Spa Business Break.